There's nothing better than cooking something delicious for friends or family, and you don't have to wait to the end of the weekend to do a beautiful roast. Introducing pot roast pork, wrapped in cured meat with sage and garlic, and a side dish of celeriac, spinach, and some compotted apple and rhubarb. Oh yes, let's do this. So this is a beautiful piece of pork loin. It's about 1 kilo. We've removed belly and fat to make it convenient. So it's going to cook really evenly, but we have lost flavour. So we've got to add it back in. So we'll do that by creating an amazing marinade and wrapping it in the cured meat. First up, I'm going to use a fantastic herb, sage. The smell is amazing. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Take your pestle and smash it up. Then go in with 2 cloves of garlic. Once the garlic has been smashed, then finish off the marinade process with 2 tablespoons of oil and about 1 tablespoon or 2 of red wine vinegar. That, my friends, is unbelievable flavour potential. Pour it over the pork, and then we can have a nice little rub up. Let's have a look at the cured meat for wrapping. So take a piece of greaseproof paper. We'll rub that with a little olive oil. And then here I'm using a cured meat called Coppa di Parma. But of course you can use Parma ham, use whatever you can get your hands on. And I'm just gonna lay out this incredible cured meat, turn this, take that amazing cut of pork. We're using simply rolling and gravity to wrap that, okay? Now at this stage, we wanna secure it. So I'm gonna take some string, do a double knot, and pull it fairly tight, right? We want to secure that to the pork. And there you go. Something truly beautiful and ready for cooking. So pan goes on, just a little bit of olive oil, a little knob of butter, and as it starts to bubble and fry, we'll go in with this incredible piece of pork. Listen to that, come on, that's what it's all about. Now, we will just move this pork around and we'll achieve a little bit of light golden colour. While the pork browns, slice up a stick of celery, cut the red onion into wedges and add to the pan with a couple of sprigs of rosemary. It's just lovely, savoury flavours. This is going to be beautiful. So, you know, as it starts to fry and get golden and crisp, then we add a little Chianti. Just a little. We don't want to boil. And that's going to create the most amazing sort of humid, delicious environment where the fat and the Chianti is just kind of creating this shiny cream that just bastes the meat. That's pot roasting. So it's going in the oven for about 40 minutes. Every 10 minutes, I'll turn it and baste it. And this will give you golden, delicious, moist pork. What I'll do now is bang this in an oven at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 Fahrenheit. It's gonna be truly amazing. So as that beautiful pork cooks, what could go with it? I'm thinking celeriac. You can steam it, grill it, you can mash it, you can pretty much treat it like a parsnip or a potato, but also most of the flavour is in the skin. So I've had a proper little scrub up. Generously sort of cut off those lobes of skin. There you go. So all I do here is a little seasoning and a little oil, celeriac cracklings in the bottom of the oven. Into a new pan, add a tablespoon of olive oil, a few sprigs of thyme, and go in with the chopped celeriac. And about half an hour of cooking and that will be beautiful. As that's happening, I want to do a compote. Apples, very, very traditional, quite British, but then I'm kind of rifting off into the wonderful world of rhubarb. Sour. It's got that kind of weird sort of tropical slap. Chunk up the rhubarb and add to the roasting tray. Then peel and chop a red and green apple. Add a pinch of salt and pepper, a tablespoon of brown sugar, a splash of red wine vinegar, and throw in a knob of butter. So give it a nice little mix up. This goes in the oven. Let's have a look at our pork and give it just another drizzle of the Chianti. Look at that. Just move it over and just add that juice and it's going to be amazing. Put the pork back in the oven and let it cook away, remembering to turn and baste it every 10 minutes. Come on! Look at that gorgeous, simple sauce. Now, I'm going to let the meat rest in its juices, right? About 10 minutes. That will give you a tastier, more tender cut of meat. And then here, we have got the celeriac. I want to bring some greens into the story. So baby spinach, 2 bags, get it in there. Use the residual steam, a couple of minutes, and then it's plate up time. So exciting. The smell is phenomenal. Look at this. Come on. Colour, flavour, smells. That's what it's about. If I just push it, look at the moisture coming out of it. Dry pork, no longer. No way, Jose. Different vibe, but it's gonna put a massive smile on your face. The idea of sauce, gravy, right? We're not gonna have pints of the stuff, sorry. But what I'll give you in return is flavour like you've never had before. And we've got a roasted rhubarb and apple compote. Crispy celeriac cracklings. Ladies and gentlemen, pot roast pork wrapped in cured meat. Oh, that is so good. Nice bit of the old cured meat, the silky soft pork, and that Chianti juice is so good. Little kiss of sweetness from the compote. That, my friend, is a little fork of heavenly beauty. Look at this beautiful shoulder of lamb. And I have to be honest, the shoulder of lamb is my favourite bit of the whole animal. And I tell you what, if more people bought it, it would give butchers all around the country a much easier life, because legs of lamb, walk out the door. Racks of lamb, walk out the door. But these little babies need a tiny bit of thought, a little bit of TLC, and cook it slow. And this meat is sweet, it's delicious, and you don't have to do too much to it. So, first of all, get yourself a knife and just score up erratically the lamb, just to open it up a little bit, like that. And then all I want to do is get a roasting tray. I'm going to get a garlic clove and just smash them up like that. Throw a few on the bottom. Get some salt. Season the lamb on both sides. And then pepper. And real simple. The whole point of this is utter simplicity, but then care when you cook it. Get yourself a nice wodge of rosemary. Look at that stuff, beautiful. And just tear it into bits and put it in the bottom of the tray. Rosemary and garlic, classic combo for lamb. And then put your lamb in nice and snug here. And then put a few of the garlic cloves on top here. Tear up some rosemary here, nice big handful of rosemary. Be brave. And then just a tiny little drizzle of olive oil just to get that fat rendering and going. And then tin foil. 2 sheets of tin foil. Put this over here like this. Tightly seal it. And then this is the bit that's going to turn this simple, good value piece of meat into the most incredible roast, right? 4 hours at, well, what I've done is I've got an oven at full whack, okay? And as soon as it goes in, turn it straight down to 170 degrees Celsius, or about 330 Fahrenheit. And what happens is that intense heat gets on the lamb, gets it sort of going, and then the oven cools down, and we're going to gently cook that now, that lower temperature, for about 4 hours. And in 4 hours' time, that lamb is going to be so delicious, sticky, you can pull it apart. It'll be the best roast lamb you ever have. Right, let's get this lamb out. Beautiful. Fantastic smell. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And you can see, even though it's had tin foil over it, it's got beautiful colour all the way over. And what I do now, the shoulder of lamb, you can see the bone is literally falling out. That's how tender and delicious it is. I'm just going to pick it up, put it onto our platter, like that. Let that just sit. You know there's a bit of meat that's just, see how that, look. That is total tenderness. And, oh. Beauty. So in here, we've got these beautiful garlic cloves, and if you just squeeze them, then all this beautiful, lovely, soft, sweet garlickiness, you can just mix it with a bit of gravy and then a bit of, you know, potato or veg or whatever, and it is the best thing ever in the world. So don't go throwing those away. And then what you need to do now is get rid of the rest of the rosemary and any of the excess oil, like that. So if you look in the bottom of the pan now, what you've got is beautiful stickiness. So I'm going to put that on the heat, and we're going to make a funky, old-school caper and mint sauce, but not like a cold mint sauce, hot mint sauce. So, first of all, with all the sticky goodness here, I want to put a tablespoon of flour. And obviously what that's going to do is that's going to allow you to thicken your sauce, which is fine. And you can see the colour of it already is that marmitey stickiness that's cooked out of the lamb. And you never want to throw that away, that's gold dust. And while that's doing their thing, I've got some lovely fresh mint from the garden. Finely slice it. And I tell you what, when you make your own fresh mint sauce, as opposed to just getting it out of the jar, you know, it takes seconds to do, and it just tastes so fantastic. And then bring your capers into it. Literally put the two into each other and continue to chop. Go straight in with your mint and capers. And then I've got a pint of chicken stock. Bring it to the boil. I don't need you to simmer it for hours, just enough to get all that stickiness dissolved so you've got that wonderful flavour. And you'll be ready to rock and roll. Over here, I've just chopped up some swede, some carrots, some potatoes. Boil them till they're soft, and I'm going to drain them. So pour your veg in there. And then, once you've drained it, put it back in the pan. And we can put them straight back on the heat. Nice knob of butter. And for me, this is it, you know, put the lamb on, go out, have some fun, go do your thing with your mates, your kids, go down the pub, go watch football. Come back, you know, you've got the tin foil on the lamb, nothing's going to go wrong too quickly. Get the gravy on, bit of smashed veg, and you can pull it all together pretty damn quick. And a nice pinch of salt and a pinch of pepper. And then get a masher and just mash them up like that. I don't want you to mash the hell out of them. I'm not looking for a puree. You're not going to get extra points for making baby food. But just look at the colours. Beautiful. So, sauce is ready. Let's bring this together now. We get our smashed veg in here. Look at the colour of that. Total comfort food. Just great. And then a little extra knob of butter just in the top there. Let it melt. With the sauce, you've got that intensity of the lamb in the flavour, you've got the stock, the freshness of the mint and the capers. About a tablespoon of good red wine, white wine, cider vinegar to give it a bit of a twang. And obviously that acidity will help cut through the richness of the lamb. And then I'm just going to pour this lovely gravy in. Look at that. Wonderful hot caper and mint sauce, which will just knock your socks off. Works with lamb, a proper treat. And then I've got some lovely Cavolo Nero, just been quickly boiled. Look at that. Tossed in a little olive oil and a squeeze of lemon juice. It's got salt and pepper in it already. So, lovely bit of greens, proper mash or smashed veg, incredible gravy here. And I want to show you this beautiful lamb, because the whole point of this dish, apart from the sweetness and flavour, is the tenderness, right? And literally all I have to do is put my knife in here and you can see it all just bust apart. Look at that. That is the real deal. And once you've tried that lovely shoulder of lamb, you'll be doing it again and again and again.
The weekend wouldn't be the weekend without a beautiful roast dinner. And this is the one. The shoulder of pork is an epic weekend feast.
Cooked overnight, this is a magnificent show-stopping feast of soft melting meat and, most importantly, lots and lots of lovely crackling.
The shoulder of pork here, right, this is my favourite cut of pork, because I'll feed easily 20 people out of this. It's got the most marvellous marbling of fat that when it cooks, it melts, gives you flavour and tenderness, and it really is truly amazing.
I've taken off the skin, or your butcher will do this for you, for one very important reason.
When I slow cook meat, it's very hard to get the perfect crackling, okay? It's almost impossible, okay? So I'm gonna cook this crackling separately. This, however, is gonna go low and slow.
We're going to add some amazing flavour, so the first thing we're going to do is bash up a punchy rub in a pestle and mortar.
First, a heaped teaspoon of sea salt, 2 tablespoons of fennel seeds, a little bit of dried chili. I just want that hidden hum. And then 3 or 4 little cloves. So then pound it up, give it a good old bash, muddle it, and look, you end up with this kind of beautiful handful of green heaven.
Rub the seasoning all over the meat on both sides. Then it's time for the gravy, created in the bottom of the pan whilst the meat is roasting.
So we're going to use 4 onions, 3 sticks of celery, 2 lovely apples, apple and pork, best friends.
Cut the fruit and veg into chunky wedges. You'll want to keep some of their texture during the long, slow cooking process.
In they go.
To guarantee full flavour, we're using beautiful aromatics, earthy sage, the warm woody flavour of bay leaves, and of course, garlic.
And then, cider. Beautiful. Pork and apples. Really, really good.
Place the pork on top and seal tightly with foil. Next, a great tip to guarantee crispy crackling. Simply cut the skin into thin strips.
And that way, perfect piece of crackling every time.
Season all the skin with salt and pack it tightly into an oven tray.
What you can do to make it super flat and super crunchy is just put another tray on top. And the weight of that tray will just make sure it's really crunchy.
It'll need 20 minutes at 240 degrees Celsius before taking off the top tray and cooking until golden and crispy.
Now, I'm not going to cook this until tomorrow. This will go in the fridge, but this, my friends, now I'm going to put this baby in the oven for about 10 to 12 hours at 130 degrees Celsius, okay? So it's quite low. And basically, that's it. Gravy done, meat done. This goes in now.
It's the long overnight cooking at a low, low temperature that guarantees soft, melting meat. 12 hours later, and we're ready to assemble this feast.
Okay, so the pork's been cooking all overnight, nice and low. I've also done my cracklings, a little bit of salt. Look at those, they're beautiful. And you can see how lovely and crunchy they've got. They'll be brilliant, hide them. Go and hide them. I've just taken the tin foil off of the pork just for a couple of minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, just to get that top of the fat getting crisp, okay? So let's get in there and show you what we've invested all of our love and time in. Oh, look at that. That, my friends, is a feast.
After the long, slow cook, the meat is falling apart and beautifully perfumed with that fennel seed rub.
Let me get a chunk and just show you. That's what we're talking about, guys. Just chunks of tender, gorgeous, gorgeous meat.
And to top it all off, we've got those incredible strips of crispy crackling.
Get 2 forks, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, ladies and gents, apart from just get stuck in. Oh, come on. Proper, tender, gorgeous meat. Guaranteed flavour every time.
Serve up big, juicy chunks of meat with whatever veg you fancy. I'm going with a potato and fennel gratin. Top it with a shredded apple and mint salsa, and then pour on that flavour-packed gravy.
Have a little ferret about, because you will find a lovely little chunk of apple and a nice little chunk of onion, and I love that.
And finish off with everyone's favourite bit.
Beautiful. What I love about this recipe, if you cook it like I said, it always works, no question. Meat tender, guaranteed. Juice, guaranteed. Crackling.
This is for the people that, look, we like the repetition of roast dinners. Yes, I do too, but every now and again, you need a curveball. This is it. This is a roast for special occasions. Tender, flavour-packed venison, wrapped in crispy prosciutto, served with a mouth-watering twist on mash, and topped off with the most incredible gravy, made with red wine and chocolate. Oh my lord, this recipe is going to knock your socks off. Well, check this out. A lovely, beautifully prepared saddle of venison. I'm going to give it some incredible flavour. I'm going to kind of vibe up
some possibly unusual ingredients, but they really do work with the subtlety of that delicious meat.
It all starts with the marinade. So grab a pestle and mortar and go in with 1 teaspoon of white or black peppercorns, a pinch of salt, a level tablespoon of coffee beans, and give it a good old bash.
It might seem weird, but you know, the coffee bean has been used in many types of cooking for thousands of years, and it's got a wonderful perfume.
Next, add 2 cloves of garlic, 2 sprigs of rosemary leaves, the zest and juice of 1 orange, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar, a glug of extra virgin olive oil, and then give it a good muddle and it's ready for the meat.
Look at that. So just get that marinade and just rub it all over.
Wash your hands and it's time for the prosciutto wrap.
So get yourself a nice large sheet of greaseproof paper, big enough to sort of go the length of that venison, like that. Just rub it with a little olive oil. So I've got this prosciutto here, and the thing we like about this is it's seasoned, it's salted, so that's going to add to flavour. It's laced with the most wonderful fat, which is really going to take care and look after that lovely lean cut of venison.
Lay out the prosciutto slices side by side, making sure they'll cover the whole length of the meat. Then place the venison on top.
The next stage is very, very simple. You simply just go like this and then peel it back a little bit, and then you just pull it back and you roll it again.
Easy. Now you need to tie the whole thing up to keep it all in place. But don't worry, nothing too technical. Simply slide individual bits of string underneath and tie in a knot.
So I like to do a double knot, once, twice, pull it down, not too tight, and do your knot.
Repeat all the way along and pop in a roasting tray with a slug of olive oil. Leave for a while and let the marinade work its flavour magic. Time to talk gravy.
The best gravy doesn't warrant a lot of work, but it does require a little time, and the flavour comes from bones. So I got this present from the butcher. Venison bones, you get them for free. I've roasted them off with a carrot and onion.
They've roasted for an hour until nice and sticky. Now you're ready for stage 2. Pop on a high heat and stir in a tablespoon of plain flour and half a bottle of Barolo. It's a pricey red. By all means, use something cheaper, but make sure it's something you'd be happy to drink.
So just move those bones around and scrape the sticky goodness off the bottom. This is going to be so good. For the gravy lovers, you're going to go nuts.
Cover with boiling water and gently simmer for 2 hours.
OK, so that tray of gravy has simmered beautifully. Put it through a sieve, and we've got nearly a pint of gorgeous, rich gravy, which is to die for. So good. So I'm going to leave that just on the lowest possible heat. Our lovely loin of venison, that goes in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit, about 25 minutes, half an hour, OK? And that's going to be beautiful and blushing inside. Happy days. Now, over here is a nice thing. We have got a little twist. We can have mashed potatoes, right? But no, you can do that, but I've split it 3 ways. 1/3 potato, 1/3 celeriac, and 1/3 Jerusalem artichokes.
Simply boil the lot in a pan of salted water for 15 to 20 minutes. Drain, then mash with a knob of butter and a splash of extra virgin olive oil.
This is going to be a mash like you've never had before. The meat has had its time. Now, let's just let it rest, okay? And that means letting all the natural juices really go back to where they came from.
While that rests, you can finish the gravy. Take it off the heat, add a knob of butter, then you're ready for the ingredient that takes it to the next level, 70% dark chocolate.
Why are you putting chocolate in my gravy? Right, okay. First up, we're only using a little bit, 20 grams, 25 grams. We don't want it to be chocolatey, but we want to use chocolate almost like you'd use anchovy in cooking. You don't want to taste it, but it just props up all the flavour. So from this, we're going to get a silkiness, we're going to get a subtle sweetness, and also a little bitterness that's going to work so well with the red wine. And then when you have that with your meat,
stir the chocolate in and you're ready to serve.
let's unleash this amazing roast venison. Look at that, the blushing colour.
Pile the plate with the delicious mash, topped with juicy slices of venison, a side of lovely fresh greens, and smother liberally in the incredible red wine and chocolate gravy. That's what I call a roast.
The venison's so tender. That contrast of that dark, wonderful, rich, kick-ass gravy with the clean Jerusalem artichoke celeriac potato mash.
I'm gonna cook a delicious one-pan roast chicken. Now, the idea of stuffing a roast chicken isn't new, but the way I'm gonna do it is.
Right, so my family is a bit topsy-turvy, probably like yours, and I want to do a dish that's good for everyone, from my 3-year-old right up to Jules. I've always got someone that likes certain things, some people that like others. So look, chicken winner, sausage winner, and I've got the simplest way to put the two together. There's a few little tips and tricks that amplify flavour and deliciousness. We're going to do beautiful Cumberland sausages under the skin. It's going to absolutely make that breast meat so succulent and tasty. Just going to be so good. That's right, let's get cracking. So even though this is all about the chicken, let me just put that aside for a second. I want to make the most amazing sliced potato, parsnip and leek bake. The flavours of these three things together are amazing. So I'm literally just going to slice up a scrubbed parsnip. I haven't peeled them. The flavour is definitely in the skin. Go as thin as you comfortably can and just get slices like this. If it's ever a bit wobbly, go on that flat edge and we'll just slice through that again. So 2 parsnips, about 700 grams of potatoes. You can use Maris Pipers. I've just dug these up. Beautiful red skin potatoes, but it could be carrots, it could be celeriac, it could be turnips. You can muck about with it. Anything crunchy, any great root vegetable can be sliced up and put with this. With the leeks, I often look at them in 2 ways, right? You've got the white part that is just silky smooth. So we can do nice, sort of same size slices as the potatoes with this. And then where the sunlight has sort of seen the leeks, it's turned it green and it's a little bit tough. So what I tend to do with those darker parts is finely slice that a bit more if you can. It just helps the heat get to it. So in here, I'm gonna add some sage leaves. You could use rosemary, you could use thyme. The nice thing as well, it's in one tray, so less to wash up, so perfect if you kind of got like, stuff to do or, you know, family running around and you want to kind of just enjoy the moment a little bit more. Who wants to wash up all day, right? So we're going to bring that together with a nice lug of olive oil, a good pinch of pepper, a good pinch of sea salt, and we'll give it a good old toss. So the genius thing here is I'm going to cook the chicken on top of it. So chicken juice is raining down on this potato dish. It's gonna be really, really good. Right, let's get on to our chicken. Now, first up, I'm gonna take some sage and do the only polite thing, which is stick some up the jacksie. That will flavour from the inside out. For no reason other than aesthetics, if you want a nice knuckle on the end of the chicken bone, just run your knife around the top of the chicken leg, just like that. It's super simple. And then just disjoint it like that. And then you get that as a finish, which I think is better. Then we come to stuffing it. The challenge with roasting the perfect chicken is this breast meat often gets cooked before the legs, right? So what we can do is even up the cooking times by protecting the breast with a lovely Cumberland sausage. Get your finger and put it on one side of the breast. Can you see my finger under the skin? And just make a little bit of a gap. Then in with a spatula and just carefully pulling the skin at the tip towards you. You don't want to tear it. See how the spatula easily goes down, and that will prise a gap. Now this means opportunity. Opportunity for herbs, marinades, and in this case, a ruddy good sausage. We're going to use this almost like a piping bag, right? So we can kind of squeeze it out. Now, there's nothing glamorous and visually appealing about this, but if you love food, you've got to go with the flow. This is family cooking here. I remember the first time I saw my mum stuffing the Christmas turkey and I got shocked, but it's just love, it's flavour. So I'm going to squeeze the meat out of the sausage, right, and into this breast area, get rid of the skin. What we're doing is creating like a little protective layer that will stop the heat from the oven getting to the breast as fast. On the other side, spatula in like that. Sausage number 2. It's just a really easy way to do it. You can shape it in, and then just grab a cocktail stick. Then you can pull the skin over like that. See how I've gone through 2 bits of the skin? then you can kind of wind it up like this and then secure it in here like that. What I'll do now is just wash my hands. You right, River?
Yeah.
What's the matter with him, Jay?
He's having a meltdown about positions of seating.
I want from that side.
Okay. Very demanding 3.5-year-old. So then just a little bit of olive oil on the chicken, a touch of salt and pepper. Rub that all over. We'll roast that in an oven now, any oven, at about 180 degrees Celsius for about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes, depending on how big your chicken is. As that roasts, it will drip onto that potato dish and it will be double flavour. You got everything you need at the table? Look at this. So you can see how that chicken has been cooking and dripping juices onto the potatoes. So maximum flavour. Love that. I'll serve it in the roasting tray. Again, another less thing to wash up. The chicken I'll just let rest for a second. So here I've got some watercress. You can use any salad you want. I'm just giving it a little spin. So I just washed it, spin it, get a lovely ripe pear, finely slice it like that. I'm going to go through the whole thing, seeds and all. Just go as fine as you can. That will start to discolour, so then we go in with some lemon, a little bit of salt, a little bit of olive oil, and then we'll pour some of those resting juices on the salad. Beautiful. But what I really love about the kind of pear and watercress salad is it helps you kind of take a roast dinner to the summer, but also, I'm coming! Let me show you the benefit of this technique of stuffing. Take the cocktail stick out. Just cut in the skin here, and this leg meat will just pull off. Pure tenderness right there. So I can joint that off like that. Look at that. Beautiful chicken drumstick right there. And then we got the breast meat. So let's have a little look at this, because the idea of this Cumberland sausage is to protect the really delicate white breast meat. Look how juicy that is. Look at that cross-section. Just beautiful. Put that on the platter. I'll do all the work for the kids, because if I leave it to them, they'll just create carnage. Lunchtimes only go the right way about 5 times out of 10. Who's hungry? Come on then. Buds, can you take that to the table? There's a fork to serve. Make sure everyone gets salads. No one can creep out. Take these potatoes. There you go. Got it? What I love about this dish is, you know, for a lovely free-range chicken, I'm going to get every last bit of meat off this chicken. And I bet you it will all be gone. A beautiful roast chicken with a bit of a twist. Right then, who wants some chicken?
Oh, yum.
Oh, I've got a feeling that River's taking all the food. Right, Mummy, have you got a plate?
No, I'm just going to share with you.
I'll do your plate, Jules. There you go, Mum.